African-American president. It's also about how young he is. He's under 50, he's 47. This is also about generational change. In effect, this election is about change. Why is it then that some Indian commentators have been so skeptical about whether Obama will be better for India?
I think, Barkha, that's a very good question, and it's something that's been animating me for the last 2 weeks as this race has gotten closer and closer to the finishing line. I think there's a legacy of the Democratic Party's behavior towards India. I think the early years of Clinton, even though everything has dramatically changed in the last 8 years, and I think nobody seriously expects a kind of a shift back to the interventionist kind of policy, whether it's on Kashmir or the kind of tilt that you had vis-a-vis Pakistan. But somehow the feeling that because George Bush was particularly good for India, McCain must be the better of the two candidates. I think this has tended to be the received wisdom among many pundits here, and I think, quite frankly, they've got it wrong.
Siddharth, you've been watching the elections really closely, and just based on the states that are being called for Obama right now, is there anything McCain can do now to win, or does it pretty much appear that Obama
I think it
wins?
looks, if the predictions that the channels are making are correct, and there's no reason to disbelieve them, I think Pennsylvania being called for Obama is a huge blow to McCain, because given the kind of swings away from the Republicans that were being reported in the run-up to the election, you know, states like New Mexico, Colorado, traditionally, or the last election, went with the Republicans. McCain needed to grab a solid blue state from the Democrats, and Pennsylvania was where he put a lot of pressure, a lot of limited money that he had, and there was a feeling that he could narrow the gap somehow, or even wrest it from Obama. And that hasn't happened. I mean, Pennsylvania has 21 electoral college
and then Ohio
votes.
is big.
Ohio is, I think,
the Republicans have always
I think if they have lost Ohio, this is catastrophic for McCain.
Barkha, just going back to you there, you know, I remember the last election, actually all the projections that time were completely wrong. So is anyone there wondering whether there could be something drastically wrong this time as well?
Well, networks have been more cautious about calling results this time. They all remember Florida. But I was going to tell you, I've just got about 40 seconds left on this spot. So I just want to reiterate what a historic moment this is set to be. Remember, this is a man who's been senator for only 2 years. In his book, The Audacity of Hope, he says he only saw the White House for the first time in 1984 as a college student. 2 years as senator, and in 2008, he's all set to become president of America in an election that has transcended race. Very quickly, I'm going to ask the camera to just show you what's happening in the grounds again. Rapturous crowds cheering on what they believe is going to be a historic moment of victory. Crowds that are expected to go up to the hundreds of thousands of people, up to 1 million crowds there. You can see them in the grounds here at Grant Park in Chicago. I'm being told that my time is about to get up, so I'm going to hand it back to you in Delhi. But what an exciting moment to be here in Chicago. We'll join you again, top of the hour. It's back to you in Delhi.
All right, Barkha, thanks very much for that. And we're just taking a look at the latest projections now on both NBC and CNN. Pretty much the same as when we first started out, 194 electoral votes they're projecting for Obama. Siddharth, your first thoughts, is this a surprise at all? I mean, in terms of the margin with McCain?
I think the surprise would have been if the race was tighter. I mean, right now, I think I still would urge some caution, because I think a lot of, depending on how different state results come in, which precincts are reporting earlier, the race may tighten, but I do believe that his failure to take Pennsylvania and losing Ohio, if that is correct. We still don't know what's happening, I think, in North Carolina and Virginia, states that people were saying might go into the Obama camp. If McCain manages to hold on to them, the race might end up being tighter than it seems at the moment. But I think the surprise would have been if
it was actually tighter
if it was actually tighter, because the predictions were so overwhelmingly in Obama's favor.
Okay, one analysis that we're getting from the American networks is that McCain is actually doing much worse than George Bush. Bush actually won a higher percentage of votes in 2004. That's pretty interesting. Ultimately, what do you think would do him in the economy? Because one survey says that most voters who came out, 6 out of 10 of them said the economy was the first thing on their mind.
I think the economy has clearly been a major factor in this other element of the 2008 election, which is the high turnout. Because the general feeling before polling day was that if turnout is higher than before, or much higher than before, this is going to mean a huge boost for Obama, because Obama, let's not forget, his campaign focused a lot on registering new voters, getting new people to the polls, young voters. And I think that clearly the economy has been a major factor in pushing them towards that. And I think that's, I think when history is written, this is going to be seen as a major factor.
Are you saying that this race could still be narrow? Because yes, you're right. Florida is still too close to call. It's a very narrow lead for Obama right now, some 51 to 48%. North Carolina still a very, very close. Even if Ohio goes to Obama, as it's been called right now, it could still be a narrow race, you think?
No, I think...
or is it over now?
I think it's... I'm very wary of making predictions because 2000 and 2004, channels made predictions, got it wrong.
Everyone got it wrong.
Everyone got it wrong, exactly. And I think this discrepancy between the popular vote, the electoral college system is complicated. But I do feel at this time, given the kind of resources that McCain was deploying in Pennsylvania, he needed to grab at least one Democratic state away from Obama, because he was losing or slipping in traditional Republican states, and he hasn't done that. And Pennsylvania is gone. Is there any other Democratic state that he can hope to win? No. So I think all Obama has to do is, apart from Ohio,